Kate Mattoon. I'm the Managing Director and founder of Acorn Strategy. We are a marketing and communications agency and consultancy helping companies to grow. So I was recently in Australia for the MENA Connections Roadshow with the Australian Arab Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and fortunate enough to meet some really great people who work both within Australia and the Middle East, or people who are interested in entering the market. And so what I ran through was part of our strategy process, which is the 5C's that we use. We actually use it in all of our strategy work, whether that's locally or for international markets, but it's particularly useful for understanding the differences between two markets. So I ran through that in order to help companies identify how to position themselves for success and understand the differences between Australia and the MENA region. So we've had a lot of requests from people for a copy of the presentation. So what I wanted to do was really talk through some of the points so that you can understand in detail exactly what it is that you need to run through when you're considering entering a new market. Firstly, a little bit of background. So about Acorn Strategy, I established it in 2009. I'm originally from Brisbane, but have lived in Canada, the UK, and then also have been in the UAE for the last 11 years. So I was working with a developer in Abu Dhabi, and I just saw a very big gap between what I needed as an in-house client and what agencies were delivering. And so I started Acorn in order to help people create meaningful and impactful marketing. We're now a team of 25 people who work in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Perth, and some new market, some new office announcements to come soon as well. We launched into Perth last year after we saw the similarities between Abu Dhabi and Perth, both being resource-based economies that need to diversify, and they're looking to hospitality, destinations, healthcare and education to be able to diversify their economies. So that's areas that we're very familiar with, and so saw Perth as a natural fit for that. So we help companies to identify intelligent and strategic marketing, public relations, and digital communications. So not only are we able to help companies launch into new markets, but we've also done it ourselves and know exactly the trials and tribulations that you go through. So Acorn Strategy is founded on the principle that good marketing should be accessible to companies of all sizes and budgets. The foundations of the mighty oaks of companies are built in strategy. We have some really great clients, and you can see on the screen there a list of some of our current clients. So we work with the Australian government, DFAT, for Expo 2020, Austrade out of Dubai to support on their education and tech programs, and we work with a lot of F&B and leisure clients such as Hilton Worldwide, Wagamama, Viceroy Hotel Group. We've helped destinations like the Louvre Abu Dhabi and Yas Island, but we've also worked with the smallest of small companies all the way through to global entities as well, and many names that you don't see on that list. Our focus is always on helping clients to deliver stronger marketing and communications that ultimately just delivers on their business. Back to the 5C's, as I said, it's an important part in really understanding the differences and how you can position yourself for success. It's one of the key phases in our strategy creation that we go through with each of our clients. Understanding the 5C's and how they differ in each market is really important, and they can make or break the opportunity for you. The 5C's form part of our 6-step strategy process, and we have a bespoke assessment with each of our clients to formulate that strategy for them. Into it, we have the context. So the first of the C's is context. So that's really looking at what's not within your control, but ultimately creates the opportunities or challenges that are going to help you within your business. So We look at things like the political environment. So are there geopolitical tensions in the region, the economic environment? So for example, in the UAE, there's a slowing growth at the moment, but in Saudi, there's some really great opportunities if you're looking at the right thing. The social environment within the UAE, we have about 9 million people, 83% of those are expats. And then Saudi, there's 33 million people, and the majority of them are under the age of 30. So most likely that's quite different to the home market that you're operating in, and it just means that you need to frame the product and service and the business opportunity in the right way to be able to make the most of that. In terms of technology as well, really, I mean, there's a huge focus on technology and innovation in the Middle East at the moment, and that's attracting a lot of investment. Also means that things are moving really rapidly. So having an eye on that is really important for the long-term growth of the company. The likely success or failure of your product or service in the Middle East is greatly shaped by these factors, and they're really not in your control, but they need to be understood in order to fully make the most of the challenges and opportunities. Competitors are likely to be very different in international markets. So what we typically see is that business models, the service offering, the competitive advantage, the position and history are all quite different. So this creates a set of challenges and opportunities, and it's really important to be armed with the information and a full assessment so that you can make sure that your positioning and your situation in the market really meets the needs and challenges that the existing. So customers, who are they? There are so many misperceptions about the demographics and the cultural behaviours in the UAE. For example, there's a younger population. It's difficult for people to retire here, so that makes a big difference in terms of the makeup of the demographic. It's also a really transient expat population, so having brand loyalty and making sure that there's long-term traction takes a lot of extra work. It's not impossible, it just means that you have to think about things differently. At the moment, there's a shift from high disposable income to mid-level, and that means the product and service expectations are changing as well. So being able to evolve with that, considered. We love talking about collaborators at Acorn Strategy, and really they are the extra boost and really just as important as doing the research. They can make such a big difference to your immediate success in a market. So they are the people that want your success as much as you do. They're more than just a stakeholder. They're willing to go the extra mile to get your message out to market. I always use Aki as one of the great examples of a collaborator. They're always willing to help, always willing to support. When we launched into the into the Australian market last year, what we saw was they were really just, able to share our message. They were able to target the right people, and they wanted our success. They wanted to see us working in Australia and supporting and working with them. And in terms of your company, so how does your company adapt to a new market? Quite often it's not just about adapting a product or a service to a new market, but it will also change the way you function in your home markets as well, or how you talk about yourself. So it will really shape the vision and the mission of the company. It will change the way you set out your business objectives, and then therefore your marketing and communications objectives as well. And after that, your product and service is then adapted to and quite often at home as well. False assumptions can be really expensive. They can mean failure in the market, they can be sluggish, or it can mean a sluggish or slow start. They can be expensive to correct, and more often than not, they also mean a loss of opportunity. So making sure you get that right from the outset is critical. So what does that mean for you, and how do you localize your marketing strategy and planning so that you can avoid some of So you need to understand the 5C's and everything that I've just been through, but you also need to define your position. So this position in the new market will quite often have mean that you need to reflect on the positioning in home markets as well. You need to adapt your marketing materials so that they reflect the requirements. You need to launch and make sure you're using the correct channels for the right market and the right method. Be targeted in your actions and don't leave anything to chance. So what I've just walked you through is the second phase of our 6-step strategy process. We're very, very detailed with our strategy, from framing the challenge to discovery and doing the research, analysing that information and really understanding the impact on your business, creating the right strategy that then allows you to focus on the target markets, what you can actually achieve within your budgets and within initial timeframes, lay out that path for the next 5 years, then importantly do the planning for the first 12 months, then go into the implementation phase. So what you can see there is our the 6-step strategy and then the 5-step implementation process. And that ensures that from the research all the way through to the doing of the marketing and releasing the brochures and the press releases and the social media, our clients are all set up for success. So we've been very fortunate to have some wonderful clients at Acorn Strategy and some really great people to work with. One of them was Wagamama. We worked with them on a project to really understand what their positioning was in the UAE, to understand how they were targeting customers and what they meant to customers as well. So through the process that we went through with them, we understood that there was a bit of misperception on both sides between the customer and the brand. Really understood that and helped them to correct that positioning. We also helped them to launch new outlets quite successfully. We had a lot of fun with that, but also definitely achieved their business objectives for the new outlet openings as well. But we pushed that new positioning through the marketing materials, the public relations, events and social media so that there was consistency and the business objectives were fully understood and it helped to return in terms of Another one of our amazing clients has been Invent, who are a brand activation agency. They have several international offices, including in London and New York. So they launched from New York into the Australian market last year. We helped them to define their position, do their public relations in Australia and Southeast Asia, and also communications support. Fortunately, you know, they have an incredible lineup of their own clients. They work on great brands like Instagram and LinkedIn and Xero. So to be able to work with them to understand what their offering meant in a new market with existing brands was quite a lot of fun. So Acorn Strategy has many years of experience working with clients to develop the right toolkit regardless of the phase that they're at. If you're considering entering the market, we can complete market research, outreach and connections. If you've made the decision and ready to move forward, we can help by creating the right marketing and communication strategy and planning, including the 5C's that I've just taken you through. If you're ready to launch, we can help you with your campaigns. And if you're already in the market, our award-winning integrated marketing, public relations and digital communications will help you to deliver on your business objectives. Our retainers start from about $3,000, and we work with people of all sizes and budgets. But we always take them through the strategy process first. We're very heavy on planning as well and making sure that we get that campaign detail right, executing on public relations, marketing collateral, social media and copywriting. And we do a lot of consultancy around marketing process and operations and doing tailored responses for marketing challenges. when we're talking to clients, we quite often get repeated questions around things like how to make the most of opportunities with local sponsors, how to use the UAE as a launch point for the rest of the region, what the difference is between Saudi and the UAE, and things like, do I need to translate everything from English into Arabic or into multiple languages? Can my marketing team in Australia produce the work for the UAE? And depending on budget and requirements, we're able to make recommendations that suit your company and make sure that you start off on the right foot.